In today's video, I paint a strange looking red cannon, some dangerous looking green acid, and my brother shows his incredibly enthusiastic reaction. Hello and welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. In today's video, I will be painting up some bug artillery, which I must say is one of my favorite science fiction tropes. The specific brand of bug artillery today is a 3D printed Tyranid Exocrine, which is a Christmas gift for my brother, but unfortunately I dragged my feet making this video, so it's coming out like a month and a half late. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Getting started, I take stock of the 3D print, and I must say it turned out great. I'm pretty sure the model that I used was just a direct 3D scan of the GW Exocrine there, so I hope they don't dispatch their kill teams to take me out. Anyway, getting started, I hit it with a nice blast of gray to prime it. With a primed Exocrine in hand, it is time to do some airbrush work. I will use the airbrush to do the skin and use just a normal brush on the plates, because the skin kind of has that fine transitions that you need to nail that are a lot easier with the airbrush. And as for skin, my brother elected to go for black, which is xenomorphy, but also kind of difficult to do properly. So I'm going to use a lot of purples and blues to actually give it some texture. I'm going to start out with an almost black with a little bit of purple mixed in, and then layer it up bit by bit until we have a little bit more of a purple to give it some shine, I guess. After the first two coats go on pretty nicely, I decide to give it a little bit deeper shadows with a thinned down contrast blue. And you know what? I am actually very proud of it. I think it turned out really nice. And now it's going to suck even more to play against, because every time I look at it, I'm going to be so conflicted between the pride of the skin and yet the death of many Kriegers. Never mind that now, though. I'm going to finally paint up the armored plates on the bug's back, using dry brushing primarily to get that nice scratched and weathered bug texture that most Tyranids have. So I mix up some grays and some blues, but I think I might have gone a little bit too blue with this first coat. I don't know, I think I may be able to save it in the end, though. For the back armor plates, I basically just smash colors on, going lighter and lighter until I eventually reach pure purple, and it creates this really nice gradient that I actually really enjoyed. To further add texture to the plates, I use a brush and some gray to add some little scuff marks and scratches along the edge of each plate, and it ended up being a really nice effect and added to that aforementioned buggy weathered look, but I realize now that I probably should have and could have just used a bigger brush to like dry brush them on, because this ended up taking a really goddamn long time, unfortunately. The next step in this process was adding a wash, but through a combination of my own incompetence and the camera drifting slightly to the right, most of the footage looks like this, with half of, if not the entire model, completely out of frame. So, oops. Having not realized that the camera was off kilter, I paint the entire gun red because I think it needs to stand out a little bit from the rest of the model, and also because I think the red makes it look sufficiently fleshy and body horror-esque that the Tyranids are famous or infamous for, but thankfully I am able to fix it before we get on to the shading of said gun. To do this shading, I mix some yellow and red together to get an orange, and then I just start slapping this orange on top of the wet red paint on the gun to kind of just mix it together while it's on the model. And I basically build up to the top with the orange to create a nice gradient. I'm pretty sure this is called wet blending, but I can't remember and I couldn't be bothered to actually look it up. I painted the original coat of red over the dark purple color, so I more or less left it unpainted on the bottom to get some real deep shadows, so all in all, I think the gradient turned out very nice and very contrasting. Busying myself with something else while the flesh gun dries, which is probably not a good idea, but whatever, I decide to go paint up all the talons and claws and hooves on this bug. Now I paint all of these bits metal. I don't know if any other schemes do that, but I don't know, these guys are xenomorph inspired, so natural metal it is. but to start I give them all just a quick coat of gray to prime them for some metallic paint. After the gray had dried, it is time to apply the metallics, and I gotta say, this was the point where it all came together for me. I really like to put on metallics. I find it really just adds that pop. And no, I'm not doing non-metallic metal because I don't know how to. I may not know how to do non-metallic metal yet, gentlemen, but by God, can I apply a wash? Probably. I don't know. In the effort to make him look slightly less like a shiny new car, I used some discount Nuln Oil and began applying it to the armor plates, trying to apply it specifically where each plate subducts into the next. I then realized that it's not having the desired effect of realistic shadows, so I just began slathering it all over the model, and then letting it dry for about a minute, and then wiping it away with a wet paper towel. After the wash dried, I realized that it might have been a little bit too dark and made the carapace and the skin almost identical in finish, so in order to bring back some of that brightness it had, I used a sub-purple and just highlight the highest raised points on the carapace. After I had it in a perfectly acceptable gift-giving state that I really did not need to alter, I decided to take it a step further by trying to do some object source lighting and make the gun shine with like some Tyranid venom bioluminescent stuff. This was probably a really bad idea, but I decided to risk it for the proverbial biscuit. In order to get started with the object source lighting, I use my airbrush to apply white to all the parts that will glow. I try to get a little bit of overspray onto the rest of the models so that they also seem to be glowing from the afterlight, but I didn't want to go overboard because it's really easy to mess up a model when doing object source lighting. Using the places that I already had sprayed white as a guideline, I take some very light venom green and I basically spray within these white boundaries. I'm not going to lie to you, object source lighting is not exactly my strongest suit. I kind of just throw things at the model and guess, but in order to really make this glow, I decided to use a darker green and put that where the light is originating from, directly in the little like bug gun ports there. And I think it works, but like I said, I don't really understand light if I'm being completely honest. But anyway, with my dodgy object source lighting done, I think that this is a Christmas gift now. Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching this. Now, if you'd care to stick around for a second, you can watch my brother's incredibly enthusiastic reaction to receiving it.
Yep.
Brad, do you want to grab yours too? You can move them out.
Sure.
Okay, Buck.
We need to bring up Owen too.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Oh wow, Julian, I wonder what it could be.
Wait for Owen.
Yeah, wait.
Whoa! Thanks, bud.
He never did end up waiting for Owen. Yeah, unfortunately my brother already knew what he was gonna get because he was snooping around my workshop like a bitch. But anyway, I had a lot of fun making this Exocrine, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching. Happy, very belated Christmas, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay tuned, because the next Warhammer video I'm making will be at night, and if there are any Battletech fans around here, then I may or may not be making a lance of Herb Mechs. But anyway, hope to see you there. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.